to do this video now while everyone is sleeping because I don't know when I'm going to have time. Last week I was so busy preparing to leave town, and then I was out of town all weekend and didn't have any time to read. I read on the way there, but talked the whole way back. So I read one chapter. I was hoping to read 10 and 11 at least, but only got to read 10. So we'll just have to break this up because I don't know when I'll get to read chapter 11. So I don't want to keep you waiting even longer, you know. So chapter 10 of Becoming the Woman of His Dreams. It starts off with the cheesy story, but very, very, very sweet. I mean, I would be very happy to, I don't know, just if we're in a marriage like that, we're happy, we would be happy, you can't deny, right? So, yes, it's cheesy. I can see somebody being like, oh, brother, reading it, but if that was you, how would you feel, right? So it was a sweet story about Jill celebrating her husband's birthday and just blessing him with one surprise and gift after another, making him feel super special. Very sweet. And then it's really interesting. I read this book once years and years ago, but the one quote that I remember from the whole book that has stuck with me is that one at the bottom of page 79. I earn a good 6-figure income and work hard so my wife doesn't have to work outside the home, but I rarely feel appreciated. Instead, I feel like a nuisance because I might occasionally make a floor dirty or leave a cup out. I guess that really impacted my marriage. That one quote from this whole book, that one quote really has impacted my marriage. I mean, how often do I talk about that with you guys? Like, who cares? You know, if they leave something, they're providing for us, they're taking care of us, they're loving us. Let's love them by serving them and not making a big deal out of stuff that doesn't matter, right? But it's just interesting that stuck with me so long. So, the AAA Club of Marriage. Adoration, admiration, and appreciation. So, I didn't write much. I wrote, build your man's ego, is what I wrote. I feel like women, we naturally think that men think like us and feel things the way we feel them. They need us to like build their ego and make them feel awesome about themselves, you know? And there's a lot of truth to that. I think they feel admired. Feeling admired is so true, and something that just really helps your husband. I don't know, it's just funny. And my goodness, don't you want your husband to think, my wife thinks I'm awesome? I mean, if we love them, I hope that we want them to think that, you know? I want my husband to think, to know that I think he's awesome, you know? So I wrote, build his ego. When she talks about that a man needs to be appreciated, where does he go to get his appreciation? That is scary to think about. Make it you. Make you the place he goes to feel appreciated. Fulfill him. Be the one that's always praising him and admiring him and pointing out the good and encouraging him. And then I wrote, oh yeah, the complimenting thing. If you have been withholding with admiring words from your husband, It may feel strange to begin. That's true. But it's okay. It's okay. Just do it, right? There has to be a first step. And it might feel weird to compliment at first, but we need to be moving in that direction. I think it's easy. Man, I'm trying to think if there's been a time. Yeah, there has been a time in my marriage. I remember where there was always something I had to talk about. Like there was always an issue. There was always, we got to talk. I had a concern, you know. Who would be happy? I wouldn't. I would be like, what now? Good grief, you know? And you start to feel like, well, I don't do anything right, so whatever, you know, discouraging. So I remember acknowledging, like, goodness, like, there's always like something serious to talk about. I always have a concern. I always have something to talk that you're not doing right or you're not doing good enough, and we got to talk. And I noticed that I was discouraging my husband. It started to be his default that as soon as I started to talk to him about something, I would see like the discouraged, I'm not good enough, gloss over thing come over him. And I realized I am not doing anything helpful here. I'm only creating or destroying, you know. I'm not doing anything helpful here. I need to start focusing on the good, and I'm going to be quiet about all these little things I have problems with. And cold turkey, from one day to the next, I said, I'm not talking to him about the things that need to change anymore. And I just started to compliment and thank and praise. And I mean, it felt weird because I was a little bit insecure of like, not that I never said anything nice to him, but it was nowhere near as much as it should have been, you know? And it was only when I felt it. And so I was living by emotion instead of living in the action of love, whether I feel it or not, you know? We can't just say nice things when we feel nice things. That's, you know, silly. We need to be kind every day, whether we feel kind or not, you know? So I remember starting to just acknowledge him, you know, saying nice things, saying things to the kids about daddy. And little by little, he started appreciating me verbally. And I could just see that it was exactly what needed to happen, you know? And now, years later, it's a regular and normal thing to compliment, to acknowledge, to praise. And when and if, which is rare at this point, we have to talk, the wall doesn't go up because I haven't done it every day. That wound has been healed, and he realizes I'm not out to get him every single day. And there's been so much encouragement that now we can talk, you know? So that wound has been healed. I'm not saying that's how it's going to play out for everybody, but I do think that we should make complimenting, praising, admiring something that we do every day. And I remember even going to the point, like, things that, I don't know, I just sadly forgot how to do. Like when he would work out, you know, I would say like, wow, you're like so swollen. Like I could see all your muscles. And I would just see his whole demeanor change. Like all of a sudden he was standing straighter and felt so good. And I'm like, I did that. I made him feel awesome, you know? We need to make our husbands feel awesome. Not just about what they do, but tell them they look handsome. Tell them you like their new haircut or that their new shirt makes them look so nice, whatever, you know? But find ways to compliment their appearance too, because it really, really builds up their ego. And then also strength things. Like I'll look for opportunities to like say, can you help me with this? You know, like if something's too hard to open or too high to reach, I'll ask him to do it to make him feel manly, you know? And I don't know, but just look for opportunities like that, you know. Oh yeah, watching him work when he is like building something or, you know, doing something really manly. If I just sit down and watch, I can see like something comes over him, like he's like, yeah, like she's watching me work. So it's almost like he's like showing off for me, you know? And you can always, you know, be like, it's so neat that you know how to do that. How did you learn how to do all of these things? This is so cool. I'm so thankful that you're going to be able to teach the boys how to do that, you know? And just build up their ego. And it goes a long way, you guys. So funny. So make it a point to compliment him daily. And then the last thing I wrote was the 5 love languages. Let's see. And, you know, it's interesting when you read them like this, you might think you know what you are, but you might be way off. I always thought that I was quality time, and I am not. I would analyze when you don't feel loved. Like I do need time. I start to feel blue if we don't have, you know, if we have several days apart. I don't like it. But I realize that mine is when we don't hang out together, I don't question his love for me. So that means that's not my love language. I question his love for me when he doesn't kiss me goodnight, or he doesn't hug me, or he doesn't hold my hand, you know? So I'm actually physical touch, and I had no idea. And so now I know. And so I've communicated, like, I need you to kiss me goodnight every night. And I need this or I need that, you know. But what helped me realize it was taking the quiz and then realizing, oh, yeah, I struggle with feeling loved when these things are not being done. Oh, I'm not quality time, you know. So you might want to go online and take the actual quiz. But it's neat to read over it anyway. And I think everybody's loved in all of these ways. But obviously, the one that when it's lacking makes you question someone's love for you, I think that's the one that is most dominant in your life. I don't mind not getting compliments and encouragement. I think that one's Hector's probably number one, that one and touch. But, you know, quality time, I need that, but it's not like, yeah, it's not my dominant. Receiving gifts is at the bottom of the list for me. Acts of service is not really, that's probably the second to the last for me. So I would say number 1 for me is physical touch. Number 2 is quality time. Number 3 is words of affirmation. Number 4 is acts of service. And number 5 is gifts for me personally. And I think Hector, oh wait, because we took the quiz for him. I think his love language was service. Yeah, because we were laughing about how convenient for him that I just do that naturally. I'm always cooking for him, ironing for him, keeping the house clean, paying all the bills, and, you know, just handling stuff, everything. So I'm like, you're so lucky. Your love tank's never low because I just do all that naturally. But we were just messing around. So anyway, that was the chapter. I know I didn't talk about every single little thing, but please feel free to mention anything that stuck out to you that you wanted to mention or talk about or discuss and had any thoughts on. And we'll do chapter 11 next time, and then we'll move on to the next section the following time, which is Oh, I started the next section already, section 3. Okay, so maybe we can do 11 and 12 next time, and then 13 and 14 the following time. Sounds good. Good night.